Before we start, I want to tell you something. Don't leave this video early. Seriously, because if you do, you'll miss the one lesson that explains why some people experience miracles, while others spend their whole lives waiting for one. Because here's what most people don't realize. The miracle you've been waiting for may already be in front of you. You just don't see it yet.
Most people think a miracle changes everything in one day. A new job, more money, a big opportunity, or one moment that suddenly makes life easier. But what if that's not how miracles work? What if you've already walked past one? Think about your own life. How many times have you said, maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe one day things will finally get better? We've all said it, because when nothing changes, it's easy to believe nothing ever will. But that's where most people make a mistake. They think waiting creates change. It doesn't. Here's something strange. The people who change their lives usually don't know they're about to. On the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. They still wake up early. They still work. They still fail. They still feel unsure. Some days, they even wonder if they're wasting their time. But they keep going. And that's what makes all the difference. Now think about the people who gave up. Most of them didn't quit because they were weak. They quit because they couldn't see any progress. After weeks, or months, nothing seemed to change. So they told themselves, maybe this just isn't for me. And they walked away. But here's the part that hurts. What if they were only one more step away? One more phone call, one more interview, one more idea, one more decision. They'll never know, because they stopped too soon.
Life has a strange way of testing people. It doesn't always reward you right away. Sometimes, it stays quiet, not because you're failing, but because it's asking one simple question. Will you keep going, even when you can't see the result? Most people answer that question by quitting. A few answer it by taking one more step. And those few are usually the ones everyone calls lucky. If you ask successful people what changed their lives, most of them won't tell you it happened overnight. Instead, they'll tell you about one small moment. A phone call they almost ignored. A book they almost didn't read. A skill they almost didn't learn. Or one chance they almost said no to. At the time, none of it felt like a miracle. It just felt like another ordinary day. But later, they looked back and realized that one small moment changed everything. Now think about your own life. How many opportunities have you ignored because they didn't look exciting? Maybe you wanted to start a business, but you thought, I'm not ready. Maybe you wanted to apply for a better job, but you said, someone else is probably better than me. Maybe you wanted to learn a new skill, but after 1 week, you gave up because nothing was changing. It happens to almost everyone. Not because people are lazy, because people want quick results. And that's the problem. We live in a world where everything feels fast. Food is fast. Messages are instant. Videos are only a few seconds long. So without even noticing, we start expecting life to work the same way. We expect fast success, fast money, fast change. But real life doesn't work like that. The biggest changes usually happen little by little, so slowly that you don't even notice them at first. Imagine planting a tree. You water it today. Tomorrow, nothing changes. Next week, still nothing. A month later, it still looks small. If you only looked at it once every day, you might think it isn't growing. But it is. Little by little, day after day. That's exactly how your life works. Every good choice, every new skill, every extra hour you spend learning, is like watering that tree. You may not see the results today, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening.
This is where most people quit. Not because they failed, because they got tired of waiting. They stopped learning. They stopped trying. They stopped believing. Then they watch someone else succeed and call them lucky. But they never saw the years of work behind that moment. They only saw the finish line, never the long road that came before it. Here's something you should always remember. Your future isn't built in one big moment. It's built in the small choices you make every single day. The choice to keep learning. The choice to stay patient. The choice to take one more step, even when nobody is cheering for you. Those choices may feel small today, but one day, you'll look back and realize they were never small at all.
And that brings us to the final lesson, the one I asked you to stay for. The miracle isn't something you wait for. It's something you become ready for. Think about that for a second. If the opportunity you've been praying for knocked on your door tomorrow, would you recognize it? Or would fear tell you, maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe I'm not ready? Because that's how dreams disappear. Not all at once, but one excuse at a time. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. There are two versions of you. One kept waiting, waiting for the perfect time, waiting to feel confident, waiting for life to finally change. The other version started today. They weren't smarter, they weren't luckier, they simply took one small step, then another, and another. Now ask yourself, which version do you want to become? Because that choice isn't 5 years away, it's today, right now. Maybe your miracle isn't more money. Maybe it isn't the perfect job. Maybe it isn't the answer you've been asking for. Maybe your miracle is becoming the person who refuses to give up. The person who keeps learning, keeps growing, keeps showing up, even when nobody is watching. Because once you become that person, opportunities stop looking like luck. They start looking like the result of the person you've become. So don't spend your life waiting. Spend it preparing. One book, one skill, one conversation, one better decision. That's how lives change. Not all at once, one step at a time. And one day, you'll look back and smile, because you'll finally understand the miracle wasn't on its way. It was quietly building you the whole time. If you made it this far, I want to ask you something. What is one thing you've been putting off that you're finally ready to start today? Leave it in the comments, because sometimes one small decision becomes the beginning of an entirely different life.